Alright, so reflections. Reflecting on the pre-service training course, I learned a lot of things that I did not know before. I definitely learned that teaching has evolved. It definitely has evolved from my learning perspective as a student. It has definitely changed. On day one, it was a sort of an introduction into what the course details, that we have to submit, and just a synopsis into what we're getting into. And I remember on day one, we didn't know each other in the course. There wasn't any socialization as yet. But as the time passed, I got to speak with almost everyone who attended the course. And on day two, I remember there was a conversation between Mr. Woodley and us, the students, as well as Mrs. McDermott. And what stood out to me was having boundaries, the role in reporting as a teacher, how important it is. You are the first person who spots an issue in a child, and it's your job to report it. And just having overall boundaries with children, not including them on your social media, things like that. On day three, what stood out to me was the overview of the Education Act. I did some homework on that day and I looked over quite a few topics on it. But what stood out to me was physical contact. When I was going to school, it was normal for students to come and hug teachers and what's not. And it's not something that's encouraged anymore. So I definitely learned that. On day three, I also learned about professional etiquette. That one was very good. I remember them using props. I remember learning being on time, being respectful, having attire. That is a part of professional etiquette. I had a very engaging session as well with Miss Sybil Welsh. She introduced gamification, and she taught us the difference between being an assertive teacher and an aggressive one. And she taught us that a child in fear is one that will not learn. Mrs. McDermott, I remember her imparting into us interpersonal relationships, the importance of the stakeholders in education, the parents, the teachers, the alumni, staff, the child, and building trust and maintaining satisfaction among all. I also learned about differentiation with Miss Ward Morris, getting to know your students, getting to know what child you are teaching, and enhancing your teaching style to their perspective to help them to learn. I had a very engaging session with Mr. Thomas, teaching like a champion, and that was the most memorable one. He used a combination of props, gamification, and interactions. I remember him being very funny, and it was a teaching style that I definitely will adapt. But I did learn about believing in a child, empowering the child, and going beyond just the classroom. I then moved on to learn about health and wellness, and what stood out to me was the 5 senses, and that you have to live in the now, that the future and the past is not where you're supposed to be focusing on.